First of all, as usual, I want to state that none of this is being done by my own accord. I have been sent by the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son Jesus Christ, in accordance with his will, to offer this truth, to offer this grace, and to offer this chance for redemption. So with that being said, let's get started. Today I'm going to try to slow down a little bit because I felt like I was moving too fast yesterday. So I'm just slow all the way down so I can make sure everybody gets a complete understanding of the information that I'm presenting to the people, the indigenous people of America, and also just the people of the world in general. You know, it's like a saying in the Bible, the truth shall make us all free. So the same lies and deceptions and confederacies that the indigenous people of America suffer from also affect all nations of the world. So that's just really what I'm trying to hear, to let this truth be known in order that it may be a chance for grace and redemption. But let me get started. So first I'm going to go over all the information I presented yesterday because I felt I was moving a little fast. So I'm just going to explain it. See, what we have here is a document. I'm not quite sure where the document came, so I'm just going to say a document of unknown origin. And in this document, it was coming from Pope Francis' seat in the Vatican. And it was presented to the Obama administration on July 4th, 2014. Now, this particular document states that the presidential seat no longer has authority in America, no longer has power over the military forces. Military forces power was being transferred over to General F. Ham. Let's take a look at that. Get this lined up. These organic American states of the Union, known as the United States of America Major, exercising plenary civil power upon the land, hereby appoint General Carter F. Ham to lead and command the Grand Army of the Republic and its successors under the guise of the Joint Chiefs of Staff with full support. So Pope Francis, representing the Vatican seat, sent this document supposedly to the Joint Chiefs of Staff, informing them that General Carter Ham is now in full control of the military, and from this point on, it is affiliated with the Grand Army of the Republic. So what they're saying is America no longer has military power backing up its legislation and its administrations. And it also goes on to say that not only has General Ham been given authority over the military forces and the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he was also given the authority or the assignment to suppress commercial military forces. And by commercial military forces, he was referring to Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Administration, the Internal Revenue Services, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobaccos, and Firearms, and a few other federal administrations, I would say. So, the Pope stated that American military forces are no longer under control of presidential force. They're being controlled by General Carter Ham, and his duty is to suppress commercial mercenary forces who refuse to give up their authority, who refuse to step back and allow the indigenous children of God to reclaim their birthright. You know, I don't know if you just caught up with me, if this is your first time seeing my video, but, you know, go check out a few of my other videos so you can see the information in totality that I'm trying to present. A confederacy of foreign nations came upon, we'll say, American soil and disenfranchised the indigenous children of God through trickery, crafty counsel, legislature, and pure evil, just to be truthfully about it. So that's what we have so far. General Ham is now in control of the armed forces. So let's check out a little bit more of this. Okay. Then we let's go right back where we was at yesterday. The Grand Army of the Republic shall continue to operate under General One General Order 100, known as the Lieber Code, extant from the pen of the last Republic President, Abraham Lincoln. So, according to this document right here, the last Republic President of America was Abraham Lincoln. So the real question that you should ask yourself is, if the Pope who orchestrated this crafty council along with the crown of Europe, the Queen, if they're acknowledging that Abraham Lincoln was the last president of the Republic, what does that say about all the presidents that's been presented since then? But that's what I plan on getting into in later shows when I present this timeline. Yesterday I misquoted a date. I stated 1954. I want to straighten that out. The timeline I will be presenting is from 1754 to current times. And I will be showing how this crafty council was formed. I will be showing how this, let me find the exact words that this letter used. Slow it down for y'all real quick. Hold on. Okay, let's read this. Let's just read this. No orders, executive or otherwise, issued by Barack H. Obama or the presidential seat, whoever's sitting in it at the moment, pretending authority of the land of the American states while operating as President of the United States Corporation, nor as the President of the United States of America Minor, or owed any performance by the Joint Chief of Staff, General Ham, or any ordinary. All plainly stated grants of contractual authority evident in the Constitution of the United States of America remain in place, subject to good faith performance of the accompanying obligations and treaties. So what this saying is the presidential seat no longer has authority. So the people who orchestrated this disenfranchisement of the indigenous children of God, they want out. They're ready to end this occupation over God's land. And that paragraph I just read stated that the president no longer has authority. The people who began this mission has took control, and they're beginning to go back home. They're just going back home. So this letter is pointing out to the people who are pretending authority that it's time. The gig is up. And that brings me to why I'm presenting this information. I'm letting this be known to the public that right now we're being played. We really don't even have an official government. That's why everything has come to a complete shutdown. They call it Corona, COVID. No, it's the end of the disenfranchisement of God's children. And it's time for the Pharaoh and his associates to let God's children go. But of course, as the words state, if you're familiar with your words, the Pharaoh heart indeed is hardening and shall continue to harden. But while his heart getting hard, I'm going to present this information to the people. So when the Lord's judgment and destruction falls upon the perpetrators of this pure evil, the public will understand what is going on. All right, let me read a little bit more. Okay, we're going to go down to this paragraph. We require the Joint Chief of Staff and General Ham to commence measures to disarm federal civil agencies' personnel and to seize control of the vast stockpiles of arms which have been improperly amassed by the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA and other agencies employed by the United States. So what this paragraph is saying is currently the military has orders to disarm these commercial mercenary forces connected with Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, the ATF, the IRS. These entities no longer have any authority or power. So any authority or power they are attempting to exercise in this current day is just completely fraudulent, which I again point out to why the world has been shut down. Everyone is waiting for the Pharaoh to get out the way. We'll just put it that way. But we're going to get deeper into this information. Right now, I took us to the end. But when I begin presenting this information, I'm going to take us to the beginning. And I'm going to go step by step and point out the moves that was made, the legislation that was passed, the removal acts, the slaughters, the massacres, on up to the current genocide that is being perpetrated against the indigenous children of God to get rid of them. But let's carry on with this a little bit more. All right, let me go right here. Any expenses or damages incurred by these organic states or any American state citizen, by American state citizen, we're just going to call that the indigenous children of God. We are the organic states. We are the organic people of this land. So you got to kind of use your discernment to be able to read in between the lines. But anyway, or any American state citizen as a result of actions undertaken by any federal agency personnel acting as armed mercenaries on American state soil, we be understood as the result of a violent crime committed against the peaceful inhabitants of the land and will incur immediate judgment, liquidation, the assets of the Internal Monetary Fund, and the Federal Reserve in payment of the stipulated reparations. Excuse me, y'all. Some crimes shall be considered contract default, increasing the public debt subject to bounty. To sum that up, it's saying in the process of removing God's land, in the process of removing these commercial mercenary forces from God's land, any damage, whether lost property or otherwise, being incurred will be held against the perpetrating forces through their International Monetary Fund and their Federal Reserve connections. I'll just say that. I can't find the right word right now. So, any damage that occurs, basically, is just increasing the debt that you owe. It's time to go. It's time to let it go. The Pope said it's time to go. The Queen even said it's time to go. So it's just time for y'all to get on y'all boat and float up out of here. But we know how the prophecy goes. The word of God is real. right here, what we are witnessing is prophecy being revealed. God is here to free us from the entrapment and the disenfranchisement that has been perpetrated against his children. It's time for people to put down that moon worship, the sun, moon, and stars, and all that foolishness that even I was once a part of. It's time for people to come back home, come back to what our grannies and our mama them used to teach us, that kept them successful while we're all struggling and we can't even keep families together. It's time for us to come home back to God, people. It's time to redeem ourselves. And this truth right here is being sent specifically from God to open the eyes of the people and let people know the Lord God is real. The destruction we are currently witnessing all across America is not just by circumstance. What we are witnessing is the pre-show to final destruction. It's time to let God people go. I'm going to carry on. We're going to go through a little bit more of this, and then we're going to get back a little later. Let's see. All right. No enforcement upon any American state or American state citizen is owed as a result of the act of any Congress operating as a sovereign government of the United States of America minor, nor as the board. Wait, let me read this over again. No enforcement upon any American state or American state citizen is owed as a result of any act of Congress operating as the sovereign government of the United States of America minor, nor as the board of directors or trustees in any incorporated entity whatsoever. And let me point out this one more thing. Let me look through here. All right, this is the one right here. Now, a lot of these federal agencies are still running around acting like they have complete authority and control, still prosecuting and enslaving people. But according to the Pope, y'all boss, the only federal agency allowed free egress on the land of the American states is the U.S. Marshal Service. And then only when the personnel are engaged in their duty to protect the U.S. mail and sworn to act as constitutional officers. All other federal agency personnel are limited to unarmed service until further notified. I'm going to let y'all deal with that. I'm going to let y'all ponder on that. Like I state in every video, this is not about my personal feelings about this information. I'm just here to present this information. I'm just here to give truth. I'm just here to offer an opportunity for redemption and grace in accordance with the will of the Father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, Jesus Christ. And with that, for today, I'm out. See y'all next time. Remember, focus daily.